Welcome to Calm Stories, your escape into the weird, the wild, and the wonderfully ridiculous. The resume that wouldn't die. Part 1, Chronically Unemployed. I hadn't showered in 3 days. My fridge contained exactly one expired yogurt cup and half a lime. And my only form of human contact was a LinkedIn recruiter who ghosted me mid-conversation. I was, in every sense of the word, professionally decomposed. My name is Daniel. I'm 29. I used to work in marketing until a company-wide restructure surgically removed my position from existence. You know things are bad when your company sends your layoff notice in Comic Sans. 3 weeks into my jobless journey, I made a horrifying discovery. My resume was haunted. It started subtly. I uploaded it to a job site one morning, and by evening, I'd received 6 rejection emails from jobs I hadn't even applied for. One from a bakery in Nebraska, one from a mortuary in Texas, one from a tattoo parlor that apparently just felt weird vibes. Then I got an email from a company called Corporacrypt offering me a position as junior content necromancer. Requirements included familiarity with the dark arts, undying enthusiasm, and minimum 3 years of ghostwriting for the dead. At first I thought it was a joke. Then I opened my resume file again, and the font had changed. It was now in something called Blood Gothic SC, and my skills section now listed fluency in Latin chants, summoning minor spirits for brainstorming sessions, SEO optimization for graveyards. I clicked undo 37 times. Nothing. I uploaded a backup version. It changed too. I stared at the screen for a long time, then poured coffee directly into my mouth and screamed into a sock. That sock, by the way, had "Hire Me" written in Sharpie across it. It was my networking sock. Don't judge. The next day, I decided to just print the resume and hand deliver it somewhere. Preferably a real place with living humans in daylight. I chose a local startup that had ping pong tables, beanbags, and a vaguely threatening slogan: Innovate, disrupt, conquer. Their receptionist had purple hair and a Bluetooth earpiece that made her look like she could hack a satellite. She took one look at my resume and dropped it like it burned her fingers. Sir, your resume, it just whispered something. What did it whisper? She leaned in. Her voice was low. It said, "The job market is a void. Submit your soul." I thanked her politely, then left the building while sweating through my back like a lawn sprinkler on Red Bull. Later that night, I opened the resume file again. There was a new section under references. The pale one. We'll call you at 3:33 a.m. Darla, HR Banshee, only reachable by seance. Kevin from accounting, dissolved into mist during Q4 review. This was getting out of hand. I decided to consult my roommate and unofficial life coach, Greg. Greg had been unemployed for 4 years but claimed to make passive income by reselling haunted Furby dolls on eBay. Greg stared at the resume for a long time, then slowly turned his head toward me. "Bro," he said gravely, "you didn't just make a resume. You made a summoning document." Apparently, in his spare time, Greg was also a freelance demonologist. He explained that by using a mix of Canva, desperation, and certain keywords like ninja, guru, and possess excellent communication skills, I'd accidentally formatted a cursed resume, a rare occurrence that only happens to truly lost souls in the job market. "Okay," I said, rubbing my temples. "So how do I unhaunt it?" "You have to do the opposite of everything you've done." "Like what?" "You can't lie, can't exaggerate, can't say you're proficient in Excel unless you really are. And for the love of Satan, remove the phrase team player with a go-getter attitude. It's a summoning beacon." I looked down at my resume, trembling. That exact phrase was underlined. I hit backspace. The computer froze. The room went cold. The lights flickered. And then the printer, which was unplugged, suddenly spat out a page. It read, "We see you. We offer you eternal networking opportunities. The first interview begins at midnight." I turned to Greg. He was gone. Just a pile of socks and a faint smell of instant ramen. Part 2. The midnight interview. Midnight came quicker than expected, mostly because I was too terrified to sleep. I sat at my desk in a hoodie, armed with 3 USB drives, a crucifix, and a hot pocket. The resume lay open on my screen, pulsing slightly. Yes, pulsing, like it had a heartbeat. And a bad one, like someone clapping underwater. Then came the knock. 3 taps. Slow, polite, murdery. I opened the door expecting a demon, or perhaps an IRS agent. Instead, I saw a man in a crisp black suit, holding a leather briefcase and a clipboard made of bone? Not plastic. Not wood. Definitely bone. "Daniel," he said, in a voice like smooth elevator jazz with a hint of screams. "It's time for your interview." He stepped inside, looked around at my tragic IKEA furniture, and made a small note on his clipboard. I cleared my throat. With whom am I interviewing?" He smiled without using his eyes. "The Department of Eternal Employment Acquisition and Labor Sacrifice. But you can just call us HR. "Oh God, not them." He handed me a business card that shimmered like a heat wave. It read, "Malachi Grimbarrel, Senior Hiring Manager. Netherworld Division. We hire, you expire." I gestured toward the couch, which was covered in old laundry and one very judgmental cat. "Sorry, I wasn't expecting eldritch recruiters." "No worries," Malachi said, sitting down without disturbing a single sock. "We've reviewed your resume and we're very impressed. You've got transferable skills, especially the ability to scream silently into the void every day for 6 months." I nodded. That was true. "Let's begin. Why do you want this job?" "Because I'm broke, my plants are dying, and I've watched all of Breaking Bad twice without moving from this chair." "Excellent. We value honesty. Next, describe a time you demonstrated leadership." Uh, I once organized a surprise birthday Zoom call for a coworker. Only problem was she had been fired that morning. So it was just me and a bunch of confused faces trying to sing happy birthday to an empty profile picture. Resourceful and tragic. Very on brand. Next question. What are your weaknesses? I paused. I care too much. He frowned. That is the most basic human lie I've ever heard. Try again. I steal pens from banks and pretend they're gifts. Better. He leaned forward. Now, Daniel, would you be willing to sacrifice your sanity for competitive exposure? How competitive? Unlimited LinkedIn endorsements, eternal job security, an office ping pong table that bleeds. Wait, sorry, did you say bleeds? Oh yes, every Thursday during Synergy Hour. My chest tightened. And what's the, pay? He smiled wider than was physically polite. We pay in souls, Daniel. I stared blankly. He clarified, you'd be paid your own soul. Back. Slowly, with interest. At this point, I wasn't sure if this was a supernatural job offer or the freelance economy. Either way, I asked for some time to think about it. He handed me a welcome packet that smelled like sulfur and wet printer ink, then disappeared in a puff of middle management disappointment. I opened the packet. Inside was a company org chart where half the titles were just screams written in wingdings. One box simply read, "Linda, do not email Linda." There was also a sticker that said, "You're dead to us," in a good way, and a branded stress ball shaped like a screaming face. I took it to Greg. He'd reappeared in the kitchen wearing a bathrobe and talking to a toaster. "Greg, I think I just got hired by hell." He nodded. "It happens. Happened to me twice. The benefits are confusing, but the networking's eternal." "I don't want eternal. I just want, like dental. Too late, he said, sipping a smoothie that looked cursed. You signed the pact when you used Comic Sans in your cover letter. I didn't. You thought about it. Same thing. That night, my computer crashed and rebooted itself into a new operating system called Job OS Trademark. The loading screen showed a field of burning resumes and a cursor shaped like a cackling HR manager. The desktop background was a photo of me crying in a Starbucks. Taken, somehow, yesterday. I screamed. My cat screamed. Greg screamed, but that was because his haunted Furby fell in the toilet again. Later that night, the printer coughed again, this time printing a job offer letter. Dear Daniel, congratulations. You've been selected as our new outreach specialist for eternal requisition. Reports to the void dress code, casual, or flayed lunch breaks, none start date, now. Sign below in blood, ink, or Comic Sans. There was a pen attached. It was already bleeding. I blacked out. When I woke up, I was wearing a name tag. It said, "Hi. My name is Who Dares Speak to Me." And my phone had 17 voicemails from unknown numbers. All breathing. Just breathing. Part 3. Welcome to the Office of the Damned. When I came to, I was no longer in my apartment. I was in an office. A very cursed office. Picture the worst startup you've ever seen. Now imagine it's run by ghosts who do stand-up comedy about eternal suffering. There were motivational posters on the walls that read, "Think outside the coffin." Grind forever, literally. Your 9 to 5 is our 666. Everyone wore name tags, but they didn't have names. Just roles like regret coordinator, VP of agony, and janitor, deceased. The intern was just a floating head. I stumbled toward a cubicle labeled "New Recruits Still Panicking" and sat down at a desk made entirely of burnt resumes. My computer turned on automatically and displayed my daily task list. 9 a.m. Sort souls by blood type. 10:30 a.m. Update LinkedIn with fake success story. 1 p.m. Coffee break. Blood of the overqualified. 3 p.m. Team building trust. Fall into oblivion. I clicked on the calendar. Every Friday was marked as Bring Your Tormentor to Work Day. A figure loomed over my cubicle. It was Linda. Yes, that Linda. She had an aura like static electricity mixed with passive aggression. Her presence caused my coffee mug to levitate and shatter itself. "Daniel," she hissed, "where's your productivity report?" I've been here for like 9 minutes. She handed me a spreadsheet glowing faintly green and whispered, "Fix this, or I'll CC you into the abyss." Then she vanished. My inbox immediately filled with 9,999 unread messages titled, "Just Following Up." Panicking, I clicked a button labeled "Request Help." The screen blinked. A cloven hoof burst out of the monitor and slapped me. I blacked out again. When I awoke, I was in the break room, where coworkers were crying into bowls of cereal made from shredded performance reviews. A spectral barista offered me a decaf despair Sino with oat blood. Greg was there. Of course he was. He was doing trust falls with a sentient fax machine. "I told you," he said, sipping from a mug that read, "Number World's Deadest Employee. You can't escape the system." "But, Greg, how long have you been here?" He stared off into the distance. "I came in for an unpaid internship in 2019. I'm still here. I think I got promoted to assistant to the regional revenant." I was about to scream when a Slack notification popped up. Our announcements. "Welcome our new employee, Daniel. He hasn't cried yet, but we believe in him. Bleed the dream. Newbie toast at 3 p.m. By 2:30 p.m., I'd completed 3 onboarding videos narrated by a disembodied voice with a British accent that got progressively more demonic. Video 1, welcome. Video 2, your soul belongs to us, and that's a good thing. Video 3, fun with spreadsheets of pain. Then came the meeting. At 3 p.m., I joined a Zoom call with 400 participants, all cameras off, all names anonymous. Just the sound of chewing and one guy whispering, "End me" on repeat. The host joined. It was the director. No face. Just a shadow wearing an outdated Bluetooth headset. "Daniel," it said, "we've reviewed your progress. Frankly, it's impressive." "Oh?" "Your panic-fueled productivity spike is the highest we've seen since Steve accidentally replied, all to a cursed email thread." "Thank you? So we're offering you a promotion." I blinked. "Promotion? Already?" "Yes, you'll be moved upstairs to middle management." I screamed so hard the Zoom call disconnected itself. In the distance, I heard Greg yell, "Run! Once you get a title, you never leave." I bolted. I ran past the office of infinite feedback loops, past the chamber of always-on meetings, past the printer that screams. I found a door that said, "Exit, do not touch unless you're sure," and did exactly what you should never do in a horror story. I touched it. There was a bright light, a shriek, a fart noise. Then I woke up, in my bed, with my cat sleeping on my chest. Had it all been a dream? I rushed to my computer. My resume was still open, still haunted, still pulsing, except now it had a new line at the bottom. "Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at your next career pivot." And below that in small text, "P.S. This counts as 2 years of experience." I sighed. I closed the file and I opened Microsoft Word. Time for a new resume. This time I'm sticking to Times New Roman. Awesome. Let's begin story 2. The Zoom interview from hell. Part 1. Please mute your demons. Let me start by saying this. I was not ready. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not even bandwidth-wise. After being unemployed for 6 months, I landed an interview for a remote content strategist role at a company called Vision Synergy X, which sounds like a pyramid scheme but had actual Glassdoor reviews that didn't use the phrase soul extraction. I did everything right. I researched the company, practiced interview questions, rearranged my background so it looked like I had books and self-worth. I even lit a candle to manifest success, which is what unemployed people do when prayer stops working and coffee becomes a form of hydration. The interview was scheduled for 3 p.m. At 2:59 p.m., I clicked the Zoom link. At 3 p.m., my power flickered. At 3:01 p.m., I was in. But the meeting room wasn't normal. First of all, the waiting room music was Gregorian chanting played backward. Second, my name was listed not as Daniel R., but as the unchosen one, pending approval. Then the camera came on, and I saw them. There were 5 interviewers. None of them had human names. The labels under their Zoom windows read, HR Chimera. The Whisperer of Metrics. Janine, possibly alive. Senior Vice President, Suffering and Analytics. The Cube? Yes, the Cube. It was just a glowing, floating cube. It hummed slightly and had great posture. The HR Chimera spoke first. She had the voice of 3 people arguing inside a blender. "Welcome, Daniel. Tell us, why do you want to work here at Vision Synergy X?" I tried to sound confident. "Well, I'm passionate about storytelling, data-driven strategy, and the promise of health insurance." The cube began vibrating violently. Passion detected. Janine, who appeared to be slowly dissolving, muttered, "He blinked. He's insecure, but that's okay." I smiled. Then I realized I hadn't blinked in 3 minutes and was now crying from one eye. They moved on. The Whisperer of Metrics asked the next question. "Tell us about a time you failed and survived." In 2021, I launched a social campaign that got negative traction. Someone replied with just a single skull emoji. I cried in the shower for 3 days and then rebranded it as performance art. "Excellent," she said. "Crisis manipulation. You'll go far." The cube chimed in again. "Candidate possesses vibe resilience. Recommended for promotion to phase 2. "Wait," I asked. "What's phase 2? They all laughed. Too long. Way too long. Suddenly, I was kicked into a breakout room. Alone. The lighting changed. Everything turned red. Then a voice. Please answer the following scenario question. Okay, cool. Classic behavioral. You discover your coworker is a literal shapeshifter feeding on morale? What do you do? I froze. Was this a test? Was this a metaphor for Steve in accounting? I alert HR? Wrong. HRISTHESHAPESHIFTER. Then I was zapped back into the main room, where HR Chimera had somehow grown extra faces. You reported us. Interesting, she said, scribbling in what looked like a notebook made of skin. But not wrong. The cube turned orange. Candidate is a narc. Initiating reference check. At this point, I noticed something horrible. My webcam was off, but my face was still visible. I asked, why can I still see myself? Oh, Janine whispered, that's not your webcam. Then what is it? Your soul cam. The cube screamed. Then came the final question. If hired, what will you bring to the table? I didn't think. I just panicked and said, snacks? Everyone gasped. The whisperer of metrics stood up. He understands office culture. The cube burst into a radiant light beam and began chanting, team player in binary. Suddenly my screen went black, then lit up again. A document appeared. It read, offer of employment role, content strategist of the eternal feed salary, depends on your sins. Commute, astral projection, PTO, never health coverage, you won't need it. I clicked decline. The screen asked, are you sure? I clicked yes. The screen asked, are you sure you're sure? I clicked yes again. Then everything crashed. I woke up in my chair, my laptop was fried, my candle had melted into the shape of a middle finger. I looked at my inbox. There was a real email from Vision Synergy X. Thank you for interviewing with us. We've decided to move forward with a candidate who has less fear. I laughed, I cried, I applied to Dairy Queen. To be continued. Perfect. Here's story 2. This is where it all gets worse and somehow funnier. Part 2. Onboarding into the abyss. 2 days after I declined the job from Vision Synergy X, I thought things had gone back to normal. That is, until I opened my microwave and found my welcome packet inside. It was still warm. There was a Vision Synergy X sticker sheet, which hissed, a handbook titled Work-Life Death Balance, and a business card with the words, congrats! You got the job, whether you wanted it or not. See you Monday. Management. I tried to throw it away. The card screamed. Monday arrived, and with it, an unexpected Zoom link appeared on my Google Calendar titled, First Day of Doom. Against my better judgment and free will, I joined the call. My camera turned on automatically. My hair styled itself. My hoodie changed into a branded Vision Synergy X shirt that said, deadlines are real. There were other new hires. A guy named Caleb who looked like he'd just escaped from a sales cult. A woman named Priya who typed without blinking. And someone named Unknown Entity whose Zoom window was just a static-filled forest. HR Chimera greeted us. She looked more polished, less monstery, wearing a cardigan that said, ask me about your sacrifice package. Welcome, mortals, she said. I mean, team members. Let's begin onboarding. The first session was company culture. We watched a slideshow titled The 4 Pillars of Eternal Engagement. They were 1. Sacrifice. Your time, your energy, sometimes your cousin. 2. Synergy. Buzzwords are the chains that bind us. 3. Visibility. We see you. Always. 4. Snacks. Mandatory. Priya raised her hand. What kind of snacks? Emotional labor and banana chips. Caleb began weeping silently. Next was compliance training. A dead-eyed manager named Jared explained how to report violations like unauthorized conjurings in the break room. turning coworkers into frogs without filing an HR ticket. Failure to respond to Slack messages from beyond. He handed us a document called The Blood Oath of Acceptable Workplace Behavior. We had to sign with a drop of blood. I tried to fake it with ketchup. The paper burst into flames and said, "Nice try, Daniel." We were then given our official job titles. Caleb, Junior Despair Analyst. Priya, Senior Screaming Strategist. Me, Content Gremlin Mid-Level. Mid-level? I muttered. Already? Because, HR Chimera said, you showed initiative. Remember the snacks answer? The cube appeared in my Zoom window and whispered, "Team player." Our manager was introduced next. Her name was Deborah, and she appeared entirely in grayscale, like a 1950s sitcom character that had seen too much. "Welcome aboard," she said. "Your job is to generate content for our eternal feed. Think, tweets, reels, Facebook posts that haunt timelines for centuries. We want things that trend in the afterlife." She handed us our first assignment. "Make a meme that explains late-stage capitalism to ghosts." "Should it be funny or horrifying?" Priya asked. "Same thing," said Deborah, sipping a mug labeled Number Haunt Life. By lunch, the onboarding had broken most of us. Caleb was just whispering, "Optimize synergy," into a stapler. Priya had merged with the Slack workspace and only communicated in emojis. And Unknown Entity had submitted 400 TikToks, made entirely of static and whispered screams. They were shockingly good. Meanwhile, I tried to clock out. There was no option, just a drop-down menu that read, "Keep working. Think about working. Work spiritually." I picked Think About Working. The screen blinked. A message appeared. "Nice try. Back to the feed, gremlin." Then came the one-on-one with my supervisor. Deborah looked at me through the screen like she could see my Google search history. "Daniel, we're thrilled with your performance, but we need you to work weekends." "For how long?" "Forever." I need time to think about that." She raised a single, grayscale brow. "What's there to think about?" I began. But then the screen flickered, and her voice deepened. "This is your dream job, Daniel. You manifested it. Remember the candle." My candle, back at home, flared for no reason. I unplugged my modem. The call didn't drop. I closed my laptop. It didn't help. Deborah's face appeared on my toaster. Eventually, I did what any millennial would do when haunted by a full-time job. I posted about it on Twitter. "Help. I got hired by a ghost company, and I'm too afraid to quit." It went viral. HR Chimera replied with, "We value your social engagement. See you in the next quarterly ritual." Part 3. I tried to quit, and they promoted me. Approximately 1,000 words. At this point, I'd been employed at Vision Synergy X for 3 weeks, or as time is measured in the afterlife. 17,000 psychic pings and 2.6 passive-aggressive Slack threads. I wanted out so badly, but every time I tried to quit, the system glitched. Once I clicked resign on the company portal and got redirected to a Spotify playlist titled Corporate Suffering Vibes. Another time, I sent an email to HR Chimera saying, "I think I'm done here." And she replied with, "Of course! You are done, Daniel, but not with us!" I screamed. I went for a walk. Birds followed me. They all wore tiny lanyards with Vision Synergy X logos. So I tried to ghost them. Classic strategy: stop answering emails, turn off Slack, say my Wi-Fi died, and I've gone into the woods to reflect. They sent me a notification. "We noticed you haven't logged in today. We hope you're well. If you're dead, please fill out the post-life availability survey." I screamed again. Then I got a package. No return address. Inside, a mug. It read, "We promote quitters." And a sticky note, "Congrats on your new role. Vice President of Existential Marketing." What the hell? The next morning, I got added to new meetings. So many meetings. Forecasting the apocalypse, dark content sync, influencer partnerships with entities beyond the veil. They gave me an assistant named Brenda, who only communicated via PowerPoint transitions and chain emails. Brenda was horrifyingly efficient. She booked my calendar solid. I had 6 back-to-back one-on-ones with people who didn't blink, and referred to the quarterly bloodletting as if it was just a regular town hall. I called Greg. Yes, Greg from Story 1. He was now freelancing as a career necromancer. "Greg," I whispered, hiding in a bathroom stall that moaned softly. "They promoted me." "Classic rookie mistake," he said. "The only way to escape a cursed promotion is to fail upwards so hard they fire you." "Fail how?" "Be too corporate. Become so LinkedIn-brained they exile you." I hung up and I got to work. The plan. Become the most unbearable, buzzword-saturated, synergy-worshipping executive in the company. I updated my email signature to Daniel R., he, him. Idea alchemist, vibe curator, KPI whisperer, bleed the dream, lead the meme. Manifesting metrics, pivot or perish. I started talking only in acronyms. Let's crush this QBR with a QTC that smacks the ROI. Synergy, baby. I forced a company-wide rebrand from Vision Synergy X to Visi Synex 2.0, where pain meets purpose. I launched a team-building exercise called Trust Fall into Darkness. I published a blog post titled 7 Ways to Monetize Grief. The Cube cried. Within days, my behavior triggered a company-wide crisis. Employees wept into their branded hoodies. The Slack workspace became a wasteland of unread threads and screaming gifs. Unknown entity submitted a 2-week notice via demonic ritual. Even HR Chimera called me into a feedback session. "Daniel," she said, her hair now just static, "you've become unbearable." "I live for disruption," I replied, sipping black iced coffee with no ice and no coffee. She shuddered. "Effective immediately, you're being let go." I smiled for the first time in 3 weeks. They made me sign an exit document written in Comic Sans and blood. A balloon floated into my apartment window that read, "You escaped, but at what cost?" I checked my resume. It had changed again, but this time it looked normal. No more blood fonts, no more references to Linda or the Cube, just one extra line at the bottom. Former Vice President of Existential Marketing, Visi Synex 2.0, 2025 to 2025, responsibilities. Survived. I printed it, I framed it, then I submitted an application to a dog walking company and hoped they wouldn't use Zoom.